will be built in every primary school. The construction of laboratories will be given priority within the next 1 year. Primary schools neighboring secondary schools will share laboratories and other facilities with junior secondary schools. The Ministry of Education, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development have been directed to work with the Teachers Service Commission towards upgrading teachers to ensure that they are CBC compliant. The report says priority will be given to those teachers who will be handling grade 7 learners. Lastly, the government will recruit an additional 30,000 teachers by January 2023 to facilitate the transition and bridge the teacher shortage.
Technical experts.
The Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms has up to March 2023 to submit the final report. Rukia Bule, NTV.
The fate of the 4 dissenting IEBC commissioners appears to be sealed. In a report tabled in the National Assembly by the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee Chair, George Murugara, President William Ruto has been urged to suspend the 4 until a tribunal is formed to investigate their conduct. Still on IEBC, a bill seeking to change the composition of the selection panel that oversees filling of IEBC positions elicited heated debate in Parliament that saw Azimio allied MPs walk out.
The fate of the Cherera 4 commissioners now hangs in the balance. The Justice and Legal Affairs Committee has proposed the escalation of their hearings to a tribunal.
That His Excellency the President appoints a tribunal to deal with the matters in accordance with Article 251(5) of the Constitution.
Tharaka MP George Murugara, while tabling the JLAC report on the floor of the House, has urged President William Ruto to suspend the commissioners.
That His Excellency the President suspends the commissioners hearing pending the determination by the tribunal.
A decision that has put Kenya Kwanza and Azimio MPs on a collision path.
The point here is that you are in a hurry to send the 4 IEBC commissioners home against all the tenets of democracy and justice. This House cannot be a party to draconian tendencies.
The latter, through their leader Raila Odinga, are planning public rallies on the 7th of December to protest the ouster of the 4 commissioners. Azimio's leadership in Parliament now says mass action is the route.
This matter is not going to end here in Parliament. This matter is not going to end here. You know, us, when we are speaking in Parliament, we are speaking on behalf of the Kenyan people. The sovereign power of the people was donated to Parliament. But when the sovereign power is misused and misapplied, then the Kenyan people under Article 1 have the right to recall their sovereignty.
Part of the order of business on Thursday was the debate on a bill seeking to change the composition of the selection panel that oversees the filling of IEBC positions. But protests against the motion by Azimio MPs, who objected the extension of time to complete House business, threatened to derail the process.
You cannot preside over a House like this, Mr. Speaker, with all tremendous respect. And therefore, I want to give you a chance to proceed with...
That kind of ferocious assault on the House is totally out of order, and I want to urge you members that whatever internal turmoil we may have, let's constrain it to ourselves.
The MPs later walked out.
The matter of the rushed and unconstitutional amendment to the IEBC Act to give power to the ruling elite to control the selection process of the commissioners. All those matters, as members of Parliament, we have washed our hands from them.
The bill seeks to reduce the 4 slots allocated to the Parliamentary Service Commission to 2 and have the Public Service Commission and Political Parties Liaison Committee nominate 1 person each to the IEBC. The amendment bill was sponsored by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah. Sydney Chazima, NTV.
The Kenya Kwanza Coalition says it will support a move to set up the office of the official opposition leader, noting that this will strengthen democracy in the country. National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah says the move to create the office is welcome, but should not be domiciled in Parliament as proposed in a draft bill seen by NTV. The United Democratic Alliance Chairman Johnson Muthama says it does not make sense that a person whose difference with the winner is just 200,000 votes should be a commoner in the streets. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi puts the different voices on this unfolding political development into perspective.
The journey to consensus building on a proposed bill to create the office of the official opposition leader has begun in earnest, with a team from Azimio One Kenya now tasked to reach out to their Kenya Kwanza colleagues for support. Multiple voices within the Kenya Kwanza outfit are already buying the idea, noting it is a good ground to bolster a strong opposition that will check the government. The bill, fronted by the leadership of the Azimio One Kenya coalition, with the blessings of Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka, proposes the setting up of the office of official opposition leader through introducing Article 92A, which states the leader of opposition shall be the candidate nominated by a political party or coalition political party or coalition of political parties, which secures the second greatest number of votes in any concluded presidential election and receives at least 25% of all the members of the National Assembly. The bill also introduces the office of a deputy opposition leader. The deputy leader of opposition shall be a candidate nominated by a political party or coalition political party or coalition of political parties.
We have always encouraged bipartisanship in the consideration of any and all business that comes before us in the House. And therefore, if they intend to bring any form of bill that they want a bipartisan approach, we are always willing and ready to engage with anybody and everybody in this country.
When President Ruto gave his speech, his maiden speech, after he was inaugurated, one thing he said that he wishes to see a strong opposition being in place.
The bill also proposes the setting up of the office of the official opposition within the parliament's precincts, where the holder of the office shall have, among other powers, appoint a representative to sit in various select committees, address a special sitting of parliament once every year and any other time.
There is absolutely nothing wrong in having a forum for the leader of the opposition to engage with Kenyans. I, for instance, don't believe that the floor of parliament is where that should happen. He should have an office somewhere, maybe.
Further, the bill proposes that the offices of the opposition leader and his deputy will be funded from the exchequer, solicit funds from donors, and employ staff.
Nothing stops any leader, whether you're in government or in the minority or in the opposition, from soliciting for funds so long as those funds are going towards the interests of the public. But if you want to use an office that you are telling us will be catered for by the exchequer to solicit for funds for your own use or for the use of your political coalition, then I don't think the public should be funding you.
The United Democratic Alliance chairperson Johnson Muthama says any person who runs for presidency and garners as many votes as Odinga did in the August elections should not be left out in the cold.
President Ruto won with 7.2 million votes. Raila received 6.9. Look at that following behind Raila, behind him. Are you telling me that person does not deserve really, one, to have an office, number two, to have his car fueled up, to be able to reach the 6.9 million Kenyans? Are you telling me that that person should not have a public addressing system given by the government to reach the 6.9 voters who voted for him? We will be doing injustice to Kenyans.
Already, political talk has it that some leaders in both Azimio One Kenya and Kenya Kwanza are in talks and the bill may be submitted in Parliament next year when the House comes from recess. Kennedy Muredi, NTV.
Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, has been urged to explain to the country the reasons for withdrawing charges in high-profile cases with public interest if his office is to retain public confidence. Constitutional lawyer Charles Kanjama further says all is not lost, since anyone who feels disappointed has a chance of initiating prosecution in their capacity as private citizens. Here now is NTV's Ibrahim Karanja.
Even though it is not new for the prosecution to withdraw charges in some cases before court, the weight of some of the cases withdrawn in recent times have set the ball for a public discourse rolling. The latest withdrawal of such charges in a high-profile case by the Nurdin Haji-led office being the murder of Tob Cohen that had his widow Sarah Wairimo and businessman Peter Karanja as prime suspects. Tob Cohen's family has opposed Haji's withdrawal, saying they were not involved in the decision. Other cases that had caught the eye of the public but were later withdrawn include the murder charge against Gender Cabinet Secretary Aisha Jumwa and charges against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
The current concern of Kenyans is an opportunity for the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution to come out clear and engage Kenyans and clarify why they charge or withdraw charges against certain individuals, and also give the general guidelines.
Lawyer Charles Kanjama further says that there is a chance to reinstitute a case if one is unsatisfied, though he avers that executing such a case is not easy.
If you're able to demonstrate special circumstances, you can do it. But most individuals who try to prosecute cases, even when they get the leave of the court, they find they are facing so many obstacles, because the DPP is able to work with the police and other government organs and offices that can compel people to come to court, can preserve evidence. There's a lot that goes into handling a successful criminal prosecution, and individuals who tend to find it quite difficult to manage. There have been a few successful private prosecutions in the past, but in these traditional crimes like murder, robbery, rape, it's quite challenging for individuals to tackle the job to conclusion.
The lawyer also mentions the need for courts to be strict when the proposals to withdraw cases are made.
The issue of equal treatment is fundamental for the sense of justice in the criminal justice system. And it is not just on the basis of politics, even on the basis of economic ability. If you only charge the poor, but those who are better off or wealthy never get charged, or you don't take about their cases well. If you only charge, for example, men and don't charge women, or vice versa, if you charge people because of ethnicity or any other of these inherent or social characteristics, it would be very unfortunate.
Kanjama, however, defends the DPP's move to withdraw some of the cases, stating that the nature of a case developments may at times force such decisions to be instituted. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV.
Kenyans have borrowed more than 400 million shillings from the Hustlers Fund in the last 24 hours. Cooperatives and Small and Medium Enterprise CS Simon Chelugui has also indicated that more than 1 million Kenyans have been registered. However, there has been hue and cry over the amount of money being disbursed to individual Kenyans, many of whom have reported to have received between 500 Kenya shillings and 1,000 Kenya shillings from the fund. NTV's Melita Oletenges takes a look at the first few hours of the Hustlers Fund.
Benson Mwangi, a businessman in Murang'a County, is among Kenyans who have applied and received money from the Hustlers Fund just 24 hours after it was launched. He was, however, hoping to get more money than he received.
Lakini kwa bahati mbaya sikusaidika sana. Leo ndio nimejaribu kuapply tena. Wakanipea loan limit ya 600 yenye haigeweza hata kuniwekea stock.
With many Kenyans scrambling to apply for the fund, some are yet to receive their money hours later, despite going through the registration process.
Tuliambiwa tu apply. Na una apply inakwambia uregister. Ukisha register inakwambia ugoje after 2 hours. Sasa mimi nimeapply mara 2 kutoka jana. Haijanirudishia message.
The 8% interest per annum and 5% savings on the loan is, however, seemingly causing a stir among borrowers who say they are left with little to work with.
Hiyo pesa ni kidogo sana. Juu unaona sasa hiyo kama ni 500 nikipewa saa hizi hata yezi nipeleka soko ninunue unga. Mimi natumiaga unga.
Nakaa nikiangalia simu hakuna kitu. Lakini hata wenye wanapata 500. Na 500 ikikatwa inabaki 475. Na interest ya 40 shillings. Sasa hiyo ni hasara. Hiyo iwezi saidia kwa biashara.
The president, however, differs.
90% of all these lending platforms are lending between 100 shillings and 2,500. That tells you how important or how much 500 shillings or 1,000 shillings is.
With Kenyans rushing to apply for the loan, the little disbursement among Kenyans raises concerns on whether they will be able to improve their economic fortunes or squander the money altogether. Melita Oletenges, NTV.
The 51 nominees for appointment as principal secretaries in the various ministries are now set to be sworn in today at State House in Nairobi. This is after members of the National Assembly on the floor of the House unanimously approved the nomination. Several House departmental committees spent the entire day on Wednesday vetting the remaining principal secretaries, whose vetting had previously been stopped by the court after the court dismissed the case against their vetting.
As I also congratulate all the nominees on their approval today as principal secretaries, but also to inform them that they now take office when they are sworn in as accounting officers in ministries of government, and they must be accountable to the people of Kenya and accountable to this House.
Members of Parliament can now breathe a sigh of relief as they head for recess after the National Treasury committed to disburse the National Government Constituency Development Fund from the 9th of this month. The fund has been allocated 44.2 billion shillings for the 2022-2023 financial year. Treasury, will release 2 billion shillings every week to the constituencies. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndongo Thursday wrote to the Speaker of the National Assembly informing the House he had received the green light from the Attorney General to release the monies. The disbursement of the funds had run into legal headwinds after the Supreme Court declared the CDF Act of 2013 unconstitutional. The funds are largely used for community development projects in the constituencies. Nightclub owners in Nairobi now say that at least 26,000 jobs are at stake should the county government fail to rescind its decision to close all outlets operating within the precincts of residential areas. Speaking under the umbrella of the Pubs, Entertainment and Restaurants Association of Kenya, nightclubs have called for dialogue between themselves and the county government of Nairobi to avert what they refer to as dire economic consequences.
Noted that 400 outlets, or 3.3% of bars in Nairobi, are licensed as nightclubs. It is estimated that of each of the 400 or so nightclubs in Nairobi employs 50 to 80 full-time employees, and total average of about 26,000 people, and 20 to 30 temporary employees, a total average of about 10,000. Our call to the Governor of Nairobi City County, His Excellency Johnson Sakaja, is to give dialogue a chance.
All right, let's now take a look at what is making headlines on the dailies. We begin with the Daily Nation, and the story on the front page has to do with education and junior high. Ruto reverses Uhuru's plan on the junior secondary schools, and the just concluded grade 6 exam will not be used for placement to JSS S. Let's take a look at the highlights. And junior secondary schools, that is grade 7, 8 and 9, will be domiciled in the existing primary schools. Number 2, just concluded grade 6 exams will not be used for placement in junior secondary school. Number 3, an extra classroom and laboratory will be built in every primary school. Number 4, primary school teachers handling grades 7, 8 and 9 are to be retrained and retooled. 51,287,597. That is the total number of registered learners for the just concluded grade 6 tests. And then I see here 30,000 additional teachers to be recruited by January 20. I beg your pardon, actually this figure for the grade 6 test sounded a bit off. This is number 5, and therefore 1,287,597. I do beg your pardon, total registered learners for the just concluded grade 6 tests. Number 6 now, 30,000 additional teachers to be recruited by January of 2023 to facilitate transition and bridge gaps. And number 7, March 2023 time when the task force is expected to present its final report. The Daily Nation reveals the intrigues why Presidential Working Group on Education Reforms disregarded recommendations of curriculum experts from the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development and the Kenya National Exams Council, as well as the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, who called for domiciling of JSS within secondary schools. So big story there contained in the Daily Nation. Let's take a look at what else is on the front page of the Daily Nation. I see Shirlene Ruto here, and the headline here is "In Her Father's Footsteps," and a question is posed, and is Shirlene Ruto the president's political heir apparent? She has been crisscrossing the country, meeting governors, MCAs and community leaders. On the ticker here, I see that 2027 factor in plot to reconstitute polls agency with the term of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission chairperson, Wafula Chebukati, and Commissioners Boya Mulu and Abdigulia coming to an end in January of 2023, and the remaining 4 facing a President Ruto-backed ouster following a recommendation by Parliament for the formation of a tribunal on their suitability. The road for a new polls agency appears already paved. We saw that report where the committee, JLA Committee, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, has recommended that President William Ruto suspend the 4 commissioners and form a tribunal to determine whether or not they should be removed from office. Their argument being that a prima facie case has already been made. In politics, Kenya Kwanza to back powerful opposition office. President William Ruto's UDA party yesterday said it would back a proposed move by the Raila Odinga-led Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition to create the office of official leader of the opposition. Looking at the Hustler loan here, borrowers gobble up 413 million shillings from Hustler's fund. A total of 413 million had by yesterday been disbursed to some 683,000 borrowers. 7.7 million shillings repaid as questions emerge about its suitability and the high risk of default. And on page 8, how Kenya escaped global athletics ban by narrow margin. They say a stitch in time saves 9. A letter shared at the World Athletics Council meeting in Rome on Thursday saved the country from an imminent ban over doping. And now if I look at the front page of the Business Daily, I see their biggest story written by Charles Mwaniki, authored by him, is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics reveals 230,935 highest earners known to the state. Agency revises share of Kenyans earning over 100,000 shillings. Companies now reporting hidden allowances. Kenya has uncovered an additional 230,935 workers earning above 100,000 shillings monthly who are not captured in previous official data, raising fears that firms have been under-declaring their payroll and denying the Kenya Revenue Authority its fair share of taxes. At the bottom here, private universities threaten to stop admitting state-backed students. Private universities have threatened to stop admitting government-sponsored students in the wake of underfunding from the Treasury that has deepened cash flow hitches in the institutions. If I look At its ticker, I see cyber attacks giving local farms sleepless nights, says the Communications Authority of Kenya. Over half of companies operating the .co.ke web domain, mostly small and medium enterprises, experienced heightened cyber attacks in the 3 months to September. Airtel eats into Safaricom voice market dominance. Safaricom's dominance of the voice market plunged to a 2-year low as Airtel's rose to a record high, highlighting the increasing competition between the telcos. At the very top, there's an opinion piece up here. This one about an opinion piece highlighted. And an excerpt from that is private sector owns and manages assets while the public sector concentrates on provision of services. Taifa Leo, let's take a look at what is on its front page. I see here handisheki ya Ruto na Atuoli. Katibu wa KOTU adaiwa kuomba rais amwalike katika kikao cha mapatano baina yao. And I can see here Francis Atuoli, Boni Halwale at the back here, Moses Wetangula, Rashid Achesa in this picture, all smiles and laughing. This is Francis Atuoli and William Ruto. Are they laughing together or are they laughing at each other, I suppose, is the question there. So this is the front page of the Taifa Leo. Let's take a look at the Standard. The Standard and the Star. On the Standard, CBS shocker for parents and teachers. So the same, more or less, education on both the front page of the Standard and the Daily Nation. CBC shocker for parents, teachers. After 3 days of sitting national exams, grade 6 learners will remain in primary schools for the next 3 years. And the and their results will only be used to identify gaps in the new curriculum. These are among the radical measures the government has adopted for recommendations from experts. I see, just like the Daily Nation, they've highlighted some of what is contained in that interim report by the Education Task Force that was tasked with reviewing the CBC. The Star, let's take a look at what is on the front page of the Star. Women speak of the infertility pain, anguish. It feels like passing through the desert, no water and something to eat, only scorching sun. Ryla, and so that's, the headline has been split into two. So that's the first one. Women speak of the infertility pain and anguish. Second half, right, bottom half of the Star reads, Ryla loses round 1 as IEBC forfeits unceremonious exit. The 4 quote-unquote dissenting commissioners, those who dissented with Wafula Chebukati's presidential results as declared at the Bomas of Kenya, the 4 of them here, Juliana Charera, Francis Wanderi, Justus Nyang'aya and Irene Masit, captured on the front page there of the Star. And I see here, big win for parents as Ruto retains junior secondary in primary school. And in primary schools, and set for appointment, MPs defy Azimio protests, approve all PS nominees. All right, that is the front page of, I think, all the dailies, national dailies that we have in our market. Allow me to introduce the panelists already in studio with me. I have Josephat Kamau, as well as Joram Gitau. Karibuni sana. You were here last week, yes, graduating with my colleague Zainab Ismail.
Yes,
it was the graduating class of 2022. You're graduating in December?
Yes.
All right, from the Technical University of Kenya. And you're an author, Josephat, an engineering student as well?
Yes.
Where?
University of Nairobi.
University of Nairobi. All right, tell us a little bit. I'll start with you because viewers, I believe, at least got a sense of who Joram is last week. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Josephat, and even as you do that, I'm curious, have you applied? Are you among those who have applied for this Hustler Funds?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I look forward to apply.
You look forward to apply. Yes. And what do you make of this junior secondary school? I'm just curious, given compared to myself, you left school more recently. What do you make of this junior secondary schools being retained in primary schools as opposed to secondary schools?
Okay, I personally agree with the idea because based on the 844 system, they would still be proceeding to class 7, which is also a primary school. Yeah, so I totally agree with the idea.
Okay, so you support it. How about you?
I think it is a good initiative and a good entry point for introduction of these children to now advanced education. I think it is a good avenue for the kids to major in, you know, those who want to do technology-based education, they do it. Those who want to do literature-based education, they do it. Before they can now, you know, enter into deep science and deep knowledge of these practical knowledge that they're having right now in the secondary school aspect. It is a good avenue, and I think every parent should strive to ensure that these children in grade 6 transitioning to grade 7 have ample time now to interact with, you know, technology, skilled work, talent-based education, which will be really good for them.
Okay, so you're saying it's a good bridge?
It is a really good, it's a very good bridge.
All right.
Yes, because when you go to now high school, you're introduced to, you know, the heavy physics, chemistries. You have never been into a lab before, but with introduction of these children to, you know, now the lab-based education, the nitty-gritties of what they want to major in life, I guess this is like test driving a career for these kids at their age right now.
All right.
Yes.
In the interest of fairness, I did ask Josephat whether he applied for these Hustler funds. Did you?
I am looking forward to applying.
Both of you are looking forward to applying.
Yes.
All right. We're working on getting Brenda Cherotich up. She's coming to us from Kericho. So we had a little bit of a technical challenge, but we're working on that. So hopefully we'll have her up in not too long. We also have another panelist who I will reveal to you in a moment. I hope I've heard the door open, so I hope that is her making her way into the studio. But perhaps, Josephat, now, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? Yes. So you said you're doing engineering at the University of Nairobi.
Yes.
So KCSE candidates are sitting for their English paper this morning. Yes. What was it like for you, and which high school did you go to?
Okay, personally, I was in a day school, Meru Day Secondary School, which is based in Murang'a County. That's where I was. And I did it in 2018.
So which school in Murang'a County? If you can just speak up a little bit so I can hear you clearer. Okay.
I personally was schooling in the Meru Day Secondary School.
In?
Meru Day Secondary School.
Okay.
Which is based in Murang'a County. That's where I was 4 years ago. And during my time, it was not easy waiting for an exam. But we had to build some confidence that this is an exam like any other. So we just seated for the exam.
So this was in 2018?
Yeah, 2018.
And I saw that you were the most improved.
Yes. I was the most improved that time. In fact, it was something I never expected. After the announcement of results, I heard on TV Ambassador Minan Mohammed making the announcement that the most improved student is Josephat Mwangi Kamau. It was a moment that which surprised me because yes, I expected to pass an exam, but I never expected to be in the limelight. So I was very happy about it. In fact, even today, it is something that I am grateful for. And after the announcement, I remember very well, one of your correspondents or your reporters, Mr. Martin.
Yes, Martin Maura.
Yes, came to our school and he interviewed me. And I was very grateful about it.
All right, so you said you scored 4?
I scored an A- of 77 points.
Or A- of 77 points.
Yes.
So most improved from what?
Okay, in KCPE, I got 278 marks. After 4 years in a day school, I was able to get an A- of 77 points.
That is very impressive.
Sure.
Very, very impressive. So how did you achieve that feat? And you're saying you didn't have, like when you're getting ready to sit for your papers, you didn't have those butterflies in your tummy. You know, did you suffer from self-doubt? Have I read enough? You know, there are those, those choppies who right before the exam they still have their books with them. Were you one of those?
I would say yes, because when it was my first time to sit in that exam, so I had that feeling. What would I get after sitting for this paper? So I had a lot of tension in me. But after getting in the exam room, I tried my best because I decided that I'm going to stay relaxed. And I decided that I am going to do it my best. And I did it.
So you're telling those who are going to sit for their English paper this morning to relax. You've got this, and you did your best.
Yes.
What was your experience, Joram?
Well, I went to high school at Alliance High School. So I believe the teachers there laid a good foundation for us on what to expect after 4 years, right when we went in at Form 1. So with the constant reminder that exams are normal exams, you need to read, you know, the value, the return for your investments, the ones you're doing for your education right at Form 1 is at Form 4. So as we were proceeding to Form 4, I had this idea that examinations are normal exams. We were doing them almost every day, every time. So for me, I think back then, right now, I was a little bit shocked. I was a little bit tensed, by the way. Well, not because I had not prepared well, but by virtue of this is something that is going to determine the rest of my life. The cluster points I am going to amass after these examinations are the ones that are going to decide what I do later, a career, if I'm going to get to that international relations course. So I know for all the kids who are sitting exams today, they have their hearts in their mouths. If that was the correct face from Mr. Mushiri's English.
From Mr. who?
Mushiri. Yes.
That was your English teacher?
He was my English teacher.
Shout out to Mr. Mushiri. Yes. Now, I remember when my class 8, when I did my class 8 KCPE, and I'm going to betray my age. So the top, it was out of 700, not the 500. And when the results came out, I hid under the bed. I was so nervous. I was so worried about what those results would look like. We take a break, but when we come back on the other side, we delve more into conversation with my panelists this morning. I have Josephat and Joram, J&J, in studio with me already. We're waiting for one more person. We have Brenda, who's going to come, who's going to be speaking to us from Kericho. Now, she got her KCSE exam results not too long ago for 2021. She topped the category of 16-year-olds and below. So it'll be good to hear what she's doing now, what she's looking forward to now. She says she's looking forward to being admitted to Yale. Hopefully we'll have her on as well on the other side. Remember, at NTV Kenya, at O Burrows, do send your wishes for success for the candidates using those two Twitter handles, at O Burrows, at NTV Kenya. KCSE candidates sitting their English exam this morning.
This week on The Best Of, we look at what it takes to keep avocados constant.
You only learn you have the wrong seedling after 3 years. Then you say, oops, wrong fruit.
Organic farming is the present and the future.
Once they taste your fruit and when it has a certain high percentage of chemicals, then you lose the market.
And we get a proper agroeconomic education.
The difference between me and you, who has bought on the roadside, I am 1 year ahead.
Money grows on trees.
As little as they are, they fetch a lot of money.
On The Best of Avocado Farms.
Go is about thriving, reaching for the stars. It's about exploring new ideas, securely and safely, from the palm of your hands. It's go time with M-Pesa Go.
Sound engineer, take it
Building on a success.
Future bright, ndo we check labda tungediga kaza welding.
K2 Mix on NTV.
This is how we do it, this is how we get down. Niko shua hii utaiona, mbona, sinilize mbona.
Discover the exciting world around the showbiz and celebrity news, the hottest mixes from top DJs, mind-blowing interviews on your favorite entertainment show, K2 Mix, only on NTV.
We tend to focus on our outer beauty, but what is our inner beauty like?
Yo, na sisi kama boy tunafeel poa sana tukiget haircut safi sana. Sunday tutakuwa na Bonnie the Barber from Airport.
But I know I'm highly favored.
Na tutakuwa naye Terry from Rebecca and our fashion designer Cynthia from Seamstress Kenya.
So join us from 11:30 to 1 p.m. only on NTV and let's know what's inner beauty. And this is Crossover!
I know I'm highly.
Crystal Rivers Residences, the future of fine living.
KCA University is committed to advancing academics through teaching, research and community outreach. The university will be celebrating its 14th graduation ceremony on Friday, 2nd December 2022. The chief guest will be His Excellency Ambassador Gunnar Andries Holm, the Norwegian ambassador to Kenya. The event will be covered live on NTV from 9 a.m. KCA University, advancing knowledge, driving change.
According to the World Health Organization, schizophrenia affects more than 24 million people worldwide, and yet it is a condition that is least talked about.
It is one of the rare mental disorders, and it is about 1% of the population. People who have schizophrenia have what we call psychosis. So they might hear things which other people are not hearing, they might see things which other people are not seeing.
Yeah, Joshua would walk around the house, and you will hear him like he's having a conversation with somebody out there. And in the actual sense, there is no one. So when we went consulted a doctor, then they confirmed it was schizophrenia. Yeah.
Crystal Rivers Residences, the future of fine living.
We know your flavor, and that's how you inspire us to always deliver the best quality meals made fresh with locally sourced ingredients. Galitos, bold African flavor.
Get the Galitos Hot Box and a 500 ml Coke soda at just 699 Kenya shillings.
Welcome back to AM Live. With me in studio, I have J&J, Josephat and Joram, Josephat Kamau and Joram Gitau, graduating class of 2022. He graduates on the 8th of December. Congratulations. He studied diplomacy and international relations at the Technical University of Kenya. And we have Josephat, who is in his 4th year.
Yes.
Studying electrical engineering at the University of Nairobi. I betrayed my age earlier when we were on break. Joram was like, over 700. That was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time ago. How time flies. You'll be, just give it another couple of years. You'll be shocked at how long ago it appears for you as well. But tell me, and Joram, you and Julian Zamboka are of the I Went to Alliance. You know, I need to get you that T-shirt.
Yes.
But you went to Muro Day Secondary School.
Yes.
Did you feel intimidated when you were sitting for your national exams, when you thought about, okay, now I'm up against those who have gone to Alliance?
Okay, personally, I never experienced that because one of the reasons I never experienced that is I was self-motivated. I believed in that school. That's why I believed that I would make it from. Again, I also believe that we are all sitting for the same exam, and it is purely hard work, and how you have prepared is going to balance us all. So I was very okay, even being in a day school, and I was very ready to sit for that exam.
All right, so most improved from, remind me, 200 and, I wrote it down here.
278 marks.
278 to an A minus.
Yes.
What does that take to get there?
It requires,
so you're saying those who maybe have sat for their KCPE,
yes,
or sat for their KCPE and did not perform as well as they would have expected of themselves. You're
yes,
telling them it is possible to turn the tables.
Yeah, it is very possible. I would say it this way. When you are self-motivated and when you know what you want in life, it is so easy because when I joined Merode Secondary School, things started changing about life. I started working hard. I started being serious with life. I started being determined. I could do all assignments. I could do everything. Even before we would go home, I would be left in school doing some studies. I would ask teachers questions. I was very curious to learn. And I would also encourage students to do the same. Because when you are curious, and when you know, at the end of this school, I want to get this grade, I want to get this C+, I want to get this A-, it is so easy for you. Because when you are self-motivated, it is always very easy. Then again, we should always pray God so that for guidance, because one of the challenges I was facing, I could feel like I am in a day school sometimes. Then you could see, like when you close up for holidays, we could meet with friends, and all they could start saying is that they are ahead of topics, they have covered all the syllabus. So I could feel very low, but I had self-confidence that I am going to make it in this school. Yeah.
So were you one of those students? You know, one of those students, they sleep in class, they're jokesters, but then they pass, and you're like, what? How? Were you one of those, or were you just one of those who always had their head in the books?
Okay, I tried my best to be in books, even if it was not easy. Staying in the book is not easy. But I tried my best. Yeah, even if sleep could come, I tried my best to rebuke it.
Oh Lord, you're reminding me of what it was like in high school. Yes. I went to the Kenya High. Now that I'm making fun of Joram, now he can fire back with our brown shoes as Bomerians. But how about you? I mean, were you sure you'd perform well? Being in Alliance, was it like a given? For sure, even your parents were just confident that, if he made it to Alliance, he pays, and he follows his teacher's instructions, definitely he'll perform very well.
Secondary school is one of those places where the means justify the ends. It has always been an aspect of how much work you input in your study is equitable to the results you get. In the same school I was, there were people who scored C+. So it all goes back to what have you been doing for the last 4 years? And it is not an automatic, accreditation that when you go through these national schools, you'll pass your examinations. Actually, it is more pressure. The community at my village knows I went to Alliance. So everyone has hopes on my back. My parents have hopes on my back because they are paying a lot of school fees. I am born in a family of 11. So every child in the family is looking towards me to either outscore them or, to establish that identity level in the family. So when studying in these national school settings, it is always a tussle for the kids, even the ones who are sitting in examinations right now. But it all goes to how much work you put in your study, how much extra reading you do, how much balance you do with your co-curriculars, because I was heavily engaged in sports. So there was this also worry from my parents that with this sport, it might lead to your downfall, transpiring back to the results and performing in the national examination. So it regardless to where you go, the amount of input you put to your examinations and your study and your co-curriculars, and striking a balance where it is at it is going to translate to your performance. For my story, I am those learners who listen and record, but I am not able to, I am not heavy on doing personal study. So during my class hours, I was heavily invested in listening to the teachers. But after class time, I am not able to, invest in private study like the other students. So it all depends with knowing what you can do best. What are your weaknesses? How you can borrow. So this translates to, if I am a good listener, I have to invest a lot of time with the teachers. if I am a good private study person, I have to seek my own, you know, the same prayer place, now study place and learn. Yes.
Oh, that it's good that you knew yourself. I was the same as you. I was not disciplined enough to, you know, to wake up at the crack of dawn with the cock crows and everything and read for myself. So I had to pay attention, but I was a good listener. So I had to pay attention in class. Was it harder, do you think, being in day school, Josephat?
No. Because I also tried my best to pay attention in class. Yeah, so I tried the two ways. Reading on myself and listening from the teachers. Yeah.
So, I mean, because I would imagine Alliance is boarding.
Yes.
I was in a boarding school. Were there many things competing for your attention? Because, you know, if you're in a day school, then you have to think about the commute to school. Then after the school day, you have to think about the commute home. And then maybe there's stuff happening at home. You know, maybe you have siblings who pester you or when you're trying to read. Because, you know, we had preps, right? So did you find it more difficult being in a day school as opposed to a boarding school? Or was it more beneficial, do you think, to you?
Okay, being in a day school, I would say it is not easy. Because you are subjected to a lot. Like when there is domestic violence, you are able to see it. You are subjected to peer difference. Let's say like people in the village can intimidate you to do the wrong things. At the same time, every day we had to walk for a long journey, home and school. So because every day I would walk for a journey of 8 kilometers to and fro. So it was not easy creating time for my studies. But I tried my best because there is no excuse for not trying. So I tried my best to create time. This is how I used to do. After the class ends, after the end of the day, I would be left in school. I would extend up to 10 p.m. doing my studies in school. So that when I go home and feel to get time for myself to read, I was very assured that I have done enough.
And you'd wake up at what time? You mean you'd leave school at 10, trek for 8 kilometers in the dark?
Yeah, 4 kilometers. 8 kilometers is to and fro.
Oh, okay, so 4 kilometers.
Yes.
In the dark?
In the dark.
And your mom never used to worry?
She used to worry. In fact, there was 2 days consecutively. She threatened me that if I am late again, she won't open the kitchen. She locked the kitchen and I sleep agree. But she got used to it. And one day, she saw the determination that I had and supported me. Then I was backed up by my neighbors. I remember my neighbor could say, I wish he was my boy. So my mom changed and supported me. Even at sometimes she could give me like a 10 bob, go and buy a snack to sustain me in school.
So you would eat, so imagine the school would provide lunch.
Yes.
So you would, because you know that also came to mind, so there was no supper.
Yes, I would stay in school. Then okay, after some days, after getting home, like 10 p.m., after my mom supported my idea of being left in school, I would find like...
Wait, this was from?
From Form 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I could find that she has kept somewhere the keys to the kitchen. And those were one of the things that I worried most about. Yeah, so I was very encouraged, but it was not easy. It was a very big risk because I could pass in a very forested area. But I used to be very courageous because I believed in what I was doing. Yeah.
Tell me what motivated you, because this requires motivation. What do you, when you hear this, Joram, what do you make of what he put himself through? Let me put it that way. In order to attain these grades that he got, an A-.
I admire the effort from my friend here and the risks he took in his education. I also now smile because I see an aspect of, you know, survival for the fittest in life as it is. And only the long-necked giraffes survived Darwinism, right? The middle-necked giraffes did not survive Darwinism. So I am seeing another view of another struggle from other kids who are in a different setting from where I was. And now I am seeing that for my village kin, those who had, you know, I am not performing because I go to school, and like you who is in boarding school, they have a good, you know, role model to copy to. If he is able to risk it, go home at 10. Then I think, and I am now, it is affirming that for those who are in day schools, it is also possible. And a lot of, risks, because, he has to wake up very early to go to school. While it's in boarding schools, we have to wake up very early to walk to class.
Yes.
4 kilometers translated to my side was 400 meters. So for my 10 minutes walk to class, his is, I think, 40 minutes walk to school?
Yes.
Yes. So for my 10 minutes walk to class, his is 4 times the input he has to put. For my study up to 10:30, 11 in school, it is equal study with him in day school. So equal balance on education time. But when I'm walking 10 minutes back to my dormitory to sleep, he's having another, let's say an hour, because now he's tired, his legs are fatigued, he's also thinking about what he has been reading. So another 6 times more my input. So in a boarding school aspect, compared to a day school aspect, the boarding school setting is a stand up. But still, he outperformed a lot of people. If you look at the amounts of A- in his time and A's, I guess only A and A- combined, you are, I guess, nearly 20%?
Yes,
yes.
around there.
So Darwinism at its best, he outscored another 80% who are in, let's say now with almost 60% of the students going to into boarding schools and 40% of the people going, the ones passing KCP to, day schools, he outscored another 40%. So it is commendable what he has done, and it should be a word of encouragement to the students in the day school setting, sitting examinations today, and the ones that are transpiring through the Form 4 system to see the examinations come, the next few years, 3-4 years.
All right.
Yes.
And Josephat, I'm
Yes.
curious, right? And but I'm loving this interaction. Josephat,
yes.
At the time you were sitting your KCSE, there had been these reforms that had been initiated. You've talked about Amina Mohammed being the one to announce
Yes.
that you were the most improved.
Yes.
So prior to her being there was Fred Matiang'i, who had initiated these reforms so that you're the grade you get. I'm seeing John, I'm doing this. the grade you get is deserved.
Yes.
Did that also give you that encouragement that if I put enough effort, I will prove myself?
Yes. But I remember during the opening of the Form 4, I remember my principal by then, Mr. Bogwa, he could tell us how 2017 was. And he told us that it was not easy. That the people, a lot of people failed. Now, bearing in mind that I'm in Form 4, I had some hopes in myself that even if it is in a tough time, I have to make it. So every day I could put more efforts, and I was very sure that given the same time, I would still be able to get what I deserve. Yeah, I'd get a better grade.
So, it used to be, it's viewed widely, Joram, that
Yes.
kids from kids who sit for these exams in national schools have an edge. One, either they get a preview of the paper, right?
Yes.
Or their teachers drill them, or it's thought that, because you were talking about how there's some in your year who got the C+. So is it as easy sailing as people sometimes imagine? Like the minute you get into a national school, your life is set.
The minute you get into a national school, your life becomes harder. National school selection is of the best pupils in the country, the best performing KCP students, right?
Yes.
The 400s, every top performing student in the constituencies, they are eligible to sit in the national schools of their choice. So at Alliance High School, you're sitting with 400, 500 students from every sub-county who are the best. So if you're thinking geniuses, I have seen them in real life. People who are outperforming in everything, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And I have also lived the genius life, to dispel, now the rumors and everything. So these teachers have an edge because they are working with the best of the best. So inflicting knowledge, inflicting education, and inducting these children to, the syllabus is a little bit quicker. Because you find by around March, we are winding up with the syllabus at Alliance High School. And if you compare yourselves with other students in, day schools and the lower level, the lower tenure schools, our speed with the syllabus is a little bit faster. So if you are not good at, concentrating and grasping content, you'll be left behind. So, and that now translating to the Form 4 examination setting, it's not anything about coaching. It's not anything about having a sneak peek to examinations. It's all about, working with the best, having to train them. And it's a little bit easier for the teachers. They can also attest that with these best of the best, the creme in the country, in putting guidance and knowledge is good. Additionally, and this cuts across, there has been a culture of blend with long experience and the starting teachers at Alliance High School. So these long experienced teachers, if you've worked somewhere for 10 years, you can predict, let's say you are a salesperson and there is this and this and these conditions. If you have worked somewhere for 10 years, you can predict the projectiles of a company by, how the preconditions building to, the end of the year. It is the same thing with these teachers. They have taught for 20 years, 30 years. They are heavily experienced. So them guiding you through an examinations and predicting the patterns with previous 2 years was an easy task. And that's why pupils in, the national schools, the Almangus, the Kenya Highs, have an edge over, the schools in, the students in their school settings.
All right. So
Yes.
For the record, I got a B+. For those who are wondering, I will not reveal the points, but good enough. But you talked about your head teacher. Do you think, and then you are talking about these teachers and the experience they've had. There's a shift now in we're just talking about the JSS, right?
Yes.
And you are talking about skills and competence and talent. So the CBC system, the vision behind it was to identify this talent early and nurture it, and so that it's less about being book smart, but whatever gift you have, you're able to exploit and make the best of. So not everybody is book smart. Do you, in your experience, do you think things will change now that teachers will be less focused on what to expect, or this is how these exams are usually set, or these are the more less focused on passing of exams and perhaps more focused on identifying individual talents? Do you think that's going to change, Josephat?
Yes. I personally believe that it is going to impact our students because it is based on what you can do. And from what I have seen, I'm able to see like a lot of children are subjected to a lot of practicals. Like I've seen school pupils are cooking, doing a lot. So when I saw that, I can say that I have not been able to get enough of the CBC. But from what I have seen, I can say it is going to impact our future generation. Yeah, because the pupils are going to get skills in what they can do better, or what they can manage. So to support it, and my wish is, I wish the government can keep on investing in this CBC. Maybe in future, I am very confident that it's going to help our future generation.
All right. And I can see Brenda on the screen there. I'm not sure whether she can hear me. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
I can hear her in my ear. All right. No, I don't think my panelists can hear her. Have you heard her?
No.
No. But I can hear her in my ear. Brenda, thank you for joining us. Brenda joins us from Kericho. Brenda, do tell us how life has been since you got your KCSE results. You know, we covered you being carried on top of shoulders. So how are things now?
Thank you, Olive. Life has been better. After the case were released, I got into the institute program where we had some training for 2 hours, for 2 weeks, sorry. And then I had one. After that, I applied to a program called Kensap, and the program took me in, and for the past about 20 weeks, I've been with the program, learning about American universities, and learning about their education system. And through the help of Kensap, I have applied to a top university in the US. Yes, so I've been home for like a bit to a month. And this time I've been home, I've helped mom, and I have done some farming, just some kills in the shamba where we live. Yeah, so that has been my life for the time I've been home.
Okay, Brenda, sorry, at the start there, I had a bit of trouble hearing you. Can you tell us what the program is you were talking about?
Sorry?
I had a bit of trouble hearing you earlier. If you can just repeat the bit about the program that you're involved in that will now make it possible for you to, that has made it possible for you to apply to some of the top universities on the globe.
Sorry, Olive, I didn't get you.
Looks like we're struggling to hear each other. I'm asking if you can repeat the part about the program you're in that has allowed you to apply for, what are they called, the universities, the likes of Yale?
The Ivy League.
Ivy League. Okay, it appears Brenda is struggling a little bit to hear me. I also struggled a bit at the start to hear her, but we are working on that. Brenda, can I take it again?
Yeah, you can take it again. I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now. Fantastic. All right. Yeah. I was asking if you could repeat the bit about the program you're enrolled in that has made it possible for you to apply to Ivy League universities. I missed that part. I struggled to hear you at the start.
Okay. I applied to a program called Kensap. This is a program that was started to help high-achieving students from low-income backgrounds to apply to top universities in the US and get full scholarships.
Okay. So, Brenda, go ahead. Sorry for cutting you short. Go ahead.
No problem. So I've been with the program. It has basically changed my life. So we've learned about American universities, learned about the American system of education, the way, and had mock seminars. And apart from that, we've prepared how to apply to school. And now through their help, I'm applying to one of the top universities.
Okay. So what does it take to become the top performer for the 16-year-olds and under in a national exam? What did it take you? What sacrifices, for instance, did you have to make, if any? Or are you one of those geniuses that Joram in studio here has been talking about?
I would say dedication and sacrifice. I am one of those students who would wake up early, listening in class, and after that, I will still do my personal studies. So it's a mix of all, but above all, I think it was because I had that close relationship with my teachers. So they really helped me. And our school also had many programs that really pushed me to do my best. So I would say it's a mix of all of them.
Okay. And did people look down on you because you were younger?
There was this joke in class that you'll be in university for 2 years without an ID. But there was that fear that They are older than me, they know better than me, they know more than I know. But that always pushed me because my class teacher, Mr. Biko, would always be like, don't I believe you so much? And just have to be so smart so that you perform well.
Okay, so though some students may have dismissed you, your teachers did not?
Yeah.
Okay, so did it come as a surprise then when you had your name on television, when the results were being released live? You didn't need your mom to send that index number or to text message that index number to get your results. Did that come as a surprise, or were you expecting to excel as well as you did?
It came as a surprise. I knew that I'd perform well, but not that well. So it came as a surprise.
Okay. She talks about how important her teachers were to her success. How about you, Josephat? You talked about your headmaster. Remind me his name, Mr.?
He was Mr. Mbogwa.
Mbogwa?
Yes.
So are teachers critical, do you think? A support from teachers. How critical is it to performing well in exams?
It is very critical because you cannot study for yourself before they are studying from the teacher. So teachers are very critical in the performance of a student. So when a teacher has delivered the content very well, even it becomes so easy for a student to go and study. Let's give an example. Like in my high school, like Mr. Mbogwa, he could teach us Kiswahili with a lot of passion. And you see, a person who did not have Kiswahili started developing interest in Kiswahili. Like when you go to likes of Mr. Keriga, they used to teach us so well in agriculture and biology. So when you could see the energy that the teacher is using to teach a certain subject, you could feel so good. And when you go to study the same subject, you'd feel a lot of passion. And you do it with a lot of determination because you're able to see that the teacher is delivering the content so well. So you could see, the first thing, you can admire the way a teacher delivers the content. And by that admiration, you can be able to go ahead and gather the content because the way the teacher is delivering, it seems so easy for you. So I personally believe that teachers are very critical in the performance of a student.
Joram, is there a teacher in particular who made a huge difference for you?
At all levels of education, teachers are very important, right from building the basics at primary school. When I was in primary school, my love for social studies came from a teacher called Mr. Njoroge at Penelet Academy. He used to teach us through songs. You know, those songs to memorize the content, you know, those tongue twisters and everything. So teachers are important on building basics and interest in kids to identify whatever they can. Translating to high school, my class teacher, Madam Kulecha, was really good. And every teacher at Alliance High School was just amazing. Because these people would do, you know, intermixing of students, intermixing of, you know, practical lessons. At this time, they're encouraging us to work in teams, to measure each other's strengths, to compare our notes with the others who have studied in front of us, to teach each other, to teach the others who are not as quick in understanding content as the best in the class. So the role of a teacher becomes important in harmonizing even students as they study. So teachers have a huge back to lay for the students to jump on and leap forward. Coming to the university, also teachers have been important. And now the lecturers. These people are giving you insight on the after-school life. They're giving you insight on programs. I'm happy she's saying she was with the Kansas programs. How many children are aware of these programs that you can be nurtured and, you know, you can learn to study in abroad and, you know, export labor and export knowledge? So teachers are very important because they have the burden to bridge the gap, introduce knowledge, nurture skills, to be bearing enough to understand that not all children at all levels of understanding, all children are different and must be treated, you know, specifically and individually, and at most, you know, harmonize the education, you know, the education setting to ensure that the likes of her who are young are not bullied. Those from less privileged families have, you know, sponsorships. in our school, we had this program called Boys to Men. And in the program, we could absorb, the teachers would, because they have been teaching for a long time, they could call the old boys. Now, the Donald Kanyarus, the leader of majority right now, Mr. Kimani Ichung'wah, yes. They will be called back to school. And, you know, with that allegiance with the teachers telling them, you guys have experienced this. You guys have been there before these children. So come back, nurture them, show them that the education they are going through is taking them somewhere. So teachers play an important role on even ensuring that you envision where you're going. Because there is nothing as wrong as working in the dark. You don't know where to go. You don't know where to go to. You don't know where to do your private study. You don't know what other advantages to. So teachers, they link the children so much, and it is a huge worry to see that we are still having complaints of the teachers ratio to, you know, student ratio being as 1:10. That is wrong in the country, and the government should be ensuring that more teachers are procured. You know, the intermixing of the new batch of teachers being released who are technology well advanced, and, you know, the teachers who have been there in the industry 30, 40 years when technology was not at its best, so that these children can no longer learn the art of, you know, theory-based learning. But there is an aspect of technical learning, technology learning, learning of opportunities that are in the country and outside the country, and also an inversion. I am envisioning a situation where lecturers in the university can go to primary schools to tell these children of where they are going. Teachers in the primary school setting can call back the likes of him and the likes of her and the likes of me, the top performers in the country, to go back and have mentorship programs with the children who are still learning. So that infusion of education and infusion of knowledge, such that teachers become, you know, the pH scale to tell the children, you are acidic, you're basic, you're neutral. If you want to be acidic, reduce your pH. If you want to be basic, increase your pH. So the teachers are the engine to whatever life children get through and become.
All right. Yes. So we'll take a break on that note, but when we come back, we hear more from Brenda, who joins us from Kericho. And she can tell us what, because you talked about visions for the future, what her vision for the future is.
New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care with 5 oils and 5 vitamins, 48-hour nourishment, helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care for your shade of beautiful.
Big things come in small packages, and now you have millions of reasons to find them. Millions of reasons to bring it to life with YouTube Shorts. Be the game. Millions of reasons to craft the story. Whatever you love, it's all in your hands. Hum the tune. Up to 60 million shillings worth of prizes to be won. With daily and weekly cash prizes to be won by over 3 million Kenyans, and one of them could be you. Watch, create, upload, buy a daily YouTube bundle, or create a YouTube short with the hashtag #ShorterIsBetter and stand a chance to win. Dial *544# to get your 1 GB bundle for just 10 shillings.
Karibu Shots na Safaricom.
Hey, what's good? It's your girl Amina Abdi Rabah. This Friday on The Trend, we are hosting the Mare Mare Hitmakers Matata as they talk about their new album Super Mario. We will also be talking about the 16 days of activism, creating more awareness about sexual abuse and gender-based violence.
I have also gone through this. That's why I work here, to help girls who are once like me.
A painter and an illustrator unlike any other will be in studio as well.
How long should I wait for your love, little mama?
Your your usual suspects will be there. Biamono Osoro, hosted by your girl Amina Abdirabah, DJ E on the ones and twos. Only on NTV this Friday on The Trend.
Crystal Rivers Residences, the future of fine living.
KCA University is committed to advancing academics through teaching, research and community outreach. The university will be celebrating its 14th graduation ceremony on Friday, 2nd December 2022. The chief guest will be His Excellency Ambassador Gunnar Andries Holm, the Norwegian ambassador to Kenya. The event will be covered live on NTV from 9 a.m. KCA University, advancing knowledge, driving change.
Niko sure sana watu wamekaa sababu election imeshapita, lakini Kenya Kwanza inamwaga pesa kwa candidates. Madhe yangu leo ni bei yangu kama hii, but ilikuwa umaskini. Sasa hii ni show side. Na mmefokasia madhe. Mwili maza kurudi, ndio? Wale watu walikuwa wanasema umejidunga mavitu hiyo time ndio ati ukuje ukafura nini?
Si ni ule bouncer, huyu bouncer wa Kayole. Calligraph. Anaitwa
New Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair. It's a huge game changer for me. The science is pretty amazing because it really goes deep inside the tooth and repairs tooth sensitivity. It's going to improve the quality of my life in a big way.
Eddie edited it. Eddie edited it.
Eddie edited it. Eddie edited it. Eddie edited it. Eddie edited it. Eddie edited it. Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't believe in ghosts.
I believe in ghosts because the science has proven that some places in real life are actually haunted and they do have ghosts.
Crystal Rivers Residences, the future of fine living.
We know your flavor, and that's how you inspire us to always deliver the best quality meals made fresh with locally sourced ingredients. Galitos, bold African flavor.
Get the Galitos Hot Box and a 500 ml Coke soda at just 699 Kenya shillings.
Welcome back to AM Live. We're talking about a life after exams. We're encouraging those KCSE candidates who are sitting for their English paper this morning. They've been doing their optionals, that is the practicals and all that. But English is what they sit for this morning. We have Brenda, who is in Kericho County. Brenda tells us she's been doing a bit of farming as she waits to transition into the next phase of university. These two gentlemen here are not too far from transitioning out. Joram will lead the way, followed by Jospat, and then as Brenda makes her way into university. But Brenda, do you feel the pressure now? Are the expectations of you higher now that we saw you on television and you performed so well in your KCSE?
Oh, the pressure is a bit, okay, it is much. But at the end of the day, when you just look back to where you've come from and where you're going, you realize that if I've been able to accomplish this in my life, go through these obstacles and still come out strong, then you just think that whatever the future holds for me, I think I'm ready, and you just let the things flow the way they should.
All right. And how much of a difference does the school you go to make, or is it what you make of it?
In my perspective, I think it's what you decide to make of whatever opportunity that you have. Because as Jerome said earlier, you find out that even if the school is big, enough facilities, enough teachers, you will still find that some students will still fail. But you find out in some areas, the opportunities are not that enough. For example, some of my friends in northeastern Kenya, you find they didn't have teachers for some period of time, but you realize that they really worked hard according to their situation and did their best to get the best results that they could. So I think it's more of what you make of your situation, your circumstances, and then that helps you much better. So it's more of what you do, not the school you go to.
Okay, I'm sure you've been asked this question numerous times, beginning with when the results were released. But what's your vision for the future? Guys are making, there was this one student who said, no, journalism is not the path I would take. What's your vision for the future?
What I envision for the future is obviously a better economy for my country, and I envision a good future for Africa. Like if all these nations, all these regions came together as one and put all in best efforts and tried our best, like to make our lives easier and better. If you know, I come from Kericho, and this is synonymous with tea, and you find that I have grown up in an area where I have seen my siblings, myself sometimes, where we would go and pick tea for the tea plantations, and you'd be paid by the kilogram. And you realize that the amount of money you're paid is not that much, but the amount of money, the profit they make, it's like a lot, but the amount of money you're getting is not on the good side. But being having other benefits like the insurance, price water, and everything else, you find that many people flock to these opportunities to try and get a better life for themselves. So I think I just envision a place where we would all come together and try to our best to make a good economy for us, and that is better pay for everyone, just having a better life. That my kids, our kids in this generation, in the next generation when they'll be coming in, they would have to look back and be like, my mom is not earning enough to get me this and this and this. They will just be, I want this and I'm going to get it. Because if you come from a poor background, you realize that you know that there are not many options for you. And it just curtails your dreams. You just see, I'm going to grow up, do this as my parents did, get kids. But you don't realize that there's a future ahead of you, like so much better. So I envision Africa where we all together, united, and let's say economically prosperous, right?
Okay, so tell me, so does your future lie in the sciences?
No, I recently found out that because of the passion of getting a better economy for us, I would like to study something about economic policy, international relations. But I also love sciences, so we'll see about that.
Okay. And were you under any pressure from your parents? Sometimes your parents tell you, you don't joke with school, don't joke with your schoolwork, because we are looking at you to transform the fortunes of our family. Did you ever come under any such pressure?
My mom is soft-spoken, so it was an advantage in the house that you have to do your best. You have to get good grades, because my siblings before me really got good grades, and that was like an unpaid rule that you have to perform well, because at the end of the day there is nothing much at home, so you have to perform well because that is going to be your way to the world. So there was pressure, but it wasn't safe.
Okay, so are your parents farmers? You talked about doing some work on the farm?
My mom is a teacher, but on the side we have a small farm like next to my house, like near the African homes. So that is where I do my farming, that is the kales, vitungu, yeah.
That is awesome. So how about you, Josephat? Did you come under any such pressure from your parents that huku si kwa tajiri, ujue utajisomea ndo ujijenge?
Okay, personally, I did not get that much pressure because my dad was very supportive. He could encourage me. And one of the things he could say, he used to tell me that I can only give you education. Because personally, I hail from a very poor background. So I believed in education. And my dad used to tell me that I'll keep supporting you till you get your best. So they did not give me a lot of pressure. They just encouraged me. And this is what I would tell the parents who are watching us. I would tell them to encourage their children because when I go to school, I could feel that support I used to get from my parents. And when I'm doing like my mathematics, I could see my dad encouraging me. So I could do a lot of my best because of the encouragement that I could get from my parents. Another thing, the pressure I was getting is that it was in Mero Day Secondary School. One of the reasons was, from Form 1, I used to do my best. So the pressure I was getting, I knew that if I fail, it would be my worst ever. Because teachers believed in me. And most of the teachers could tell me that you are the one to break our record. Because in that school, there has never been a student who had gotten beyond B+. So they could tell me that you must get an A. So that I could say that was the only pressure I was getting. Even the colleagues were telling me that, Josephat, please don't fail. You are our hope. So that could give me a lot of pressure.
So even your fellow students were like, ah!
This one is our hope.
Yeah.
So I see a book on your table there.
Yeah.
How old are you, by the way? How old are you?
I'm 22 years.
22?
Yes.
And already an author?
I'm an author.
Stop hiding it. Show us, show us, show us, show us.
Oh,
hold it up, hold it up. And it says,
yes,
the Student Propeller.
Yeah, the Student Propeller.
So tell us, when did you publish this book and what motivated it?
I published this book this year, and I could say, to be very honest, I never had this idea. Allow me to mention one person. He's Mr. Samuel Kaja. He was the one who...
So,
yes.
People want to see the book.
Okay.
Jackie's my director, she's in my ear. Okay, hold, so she says hold it, right side, your right side. Uh-huh. All right, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, allow me to mention one person. In this life, you need to have a mentor. I would mention Mr. Kaja. He has helped me grow. We met with him in an occasion. He was impressed by my previous performance in KCSE, and he could tag me to go with him to encourage the students. So he challenged me, what if, Josephat, you write a book? And I took the challenge. I wrote a book. Then I had no money, so he supported me. He supported me in terms of printing the book, and he helped me achieve my dream. So right now, I was able to publish some books, which are still in the market. Yeah.
So, wait, you were able to publish how many books?
That time, he helped me publish around 500 books. Yeah.
All right. So I'm told we don't get you to get a muscle pull, but so you can put the book down. I hope imeonekana. It's called The Student Propeller. And where can people find it?
Okay, if you allow me, maybe I can share my contact. Again, in this book, you can find it in St. Peter's Creva, or St. Peter's along the OTC. There is a Catholic church there. You can get the book there. I have some copies there. Again, you can contact me, but the book is no longer in the bookshop. I'm the only one with the books.
Also, you published the 500 copies.
Okay, those ones are, yeah, are still in market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I can buy this one from you?
Yeah, you can buy.
Oh, good. I was like, you came without a book for me to buy.
Even the students, even the idea was supported heavily by my colleagues in the University of Nairobi. Even they usually call me Mr. Propeller. They got the name from the Student Propeller. Even in my area, people call me Mwadishi. Even they no longer call me Josephat. They call me Propeller.
Oh, Propeller.
Yes.
Allow me to also call you Propeller then. But what's in the book? What's contained in the book?
Okay, here, I have put in my story as a motivation. I have also added some more topics like how you can fight weaknesses, how you can manage your time, maybe how you can solve life challenges, the things to do, how to manage yourself. I have incorporated a lot of stuff here, apart from my story. Then I have also indicated the lessons learned, like what I was able to grasp in my high school life. I have also indicated here, and I have gotten a lot of comments about the book. Some students could tell me that I have read the copy, and I have changed my perspective about success. Even my colleagues in the university are now telling me that you have changed my life through your book. So in a short, I would say this is a motivational book. And I am very grateful for the feedback I am getting in the market. And the people who have read it are recommended the same, and they are still encouraging me to do another book. Yeah. Okay.
So Joram, did you, because you're similar to Brenda, like she wants to do international relations
yeah.
and help build the economy. So she mentioned economics and international relations. It's something you've done. Did you come under any pressure being from Alliance, that, you need to focus on the sciences, engineering, or medicine?
To any parent, positive manipulation is important. My dad is a teacher, and my mom has laid the foundation as a teacher, teaching, the children that are able differently. So she used to take us to school, my mom, and show us, these are the children I teach, and in their capacity, not being as able as you are, they grasp content. So how do they do it? They listen so much, and they do it over and over again. So with that set example from my mom, I saw that as a child who is special, who is now born in a normal circumstance, and I have that mental capability to expand, I should do my best to exploit any opportunity I have and any capability that could be in me, and show that, I can really do it. And then my dad, a very good positive manipulator, used to pitch me and my brother Dennis, because me and Dennis went to the same school, so he has always been a year before me. So he used to put us in a ring match anytime. Compare our studies. Dennis is doing better than me at this one point, and he's just bashing me in. And then once I do better than Dennis, he's bashing Dennis in. So he encouraged us to partner by positively manipulating us. So the pressure of a parent to a child while they are learning is really important, because they give you a target, small achievable targets, long-term targets, and then they pair us with the bigger siblings. So through parents, we had that challenge to learn, to better ourselves, and then they're also showing us. My dad had this really famous Bible quotation by Solomon. He says, "Grandchildren are the fruitage of parenting," and when parents don't see grandchildren, they have failed in their parenting. And in the same instance, so he used to tell us, "You guys are not my fruit. You are paying the debt from God that I have to, better you and make you better. But please make sure you strive to make the country better and to grow, so that when I get these grandchildren, I'll also be proud as a parent." And I know we are headed there, and that pressure building up from your parents to your studies, you have a lot of time to focus. Now, translating back to the community, the teachers and the community, it all goes to how you perceive the pressure. Because when they see you perform and grow, when they pair you with and compare you with other children, I know a lot of pressure piling on, students at an early age, especially in secondary school. But it all depends with what you do with it. Because positive pressure is good. When you're being monitored, you impress, these people will have an ownership to that, success. They'll be willing to contribute to your education. They'll be willing to, push you higher and perform to a lot of your capabilities. So the pressure is definitely there, but in life you must be willing to go that extra mile to, strengthen your back. And gold is made from a lot of heat and a lot of temperatures. So positive manipulation by parents, positive manipulation by teachers should be something that will be encouraged for the learners.
Okay.
Yes.
And Brenda, I'm curious, when you hear stories of somebody who studied, went to university, is pushing mkokoteni. You hear unemployment rates in the country are high. Does it discourage you that perhaps it's not enough to do well in your exams, that you must think beyond what our parents thought of in terms of their futures?
I personally think that everyone has their own path, and just saying that maybe your success is not in, let's say, something academic related, or maybe you're successful in another field. And obviously, the odds, sometimes you'd feel that the odds are against you, that you don't have the opportunities. But when I just come across someone and learn something from, I really learn, because I have seen my brothers study. Then after studying, they would venture out into a business nature different from what they studied. And starting their own company, Mail Sounds and Events, and doing something different from what they studied is really enforcing that in my mind, that you have something different, and whatever it is that you really want or that you're good in, you should really follow your heart and do it. And I think that maybe my part is in the academics part, and maybe that if I really study well and would get good grades and do my best, I think that is where my success lies. But I still have a lot of time to discover more and learn more about myself. So no pressure to myself.
No pressure. And being the daughter of a teacher, did that come with any pressure that, you know, I'm a teacher, you cannot afford to fail your exams?
The pressure was, she teaches geography, so the pressure was, you cannot fail in my subject. So when I was doing my KCSE, I knew that even if I chose to fail in subject, I knew that it could not be geography. And having known that she's a teacher in a high school, it gives you the pressure, because she's telling you that you have to really perform well, because I have to teach my students and tell them that you can do it. And you being an example to them, like, you can't, as a teacher, you can't tell them to work hard when your own dad is not working hard. So there was that pressure, but she will always be encouraging and telling me, you just work hard, everything will work out for you.
Okay. And Josephat, to be honest, you talked about geography, and I dropped geography in my second year of high school, because geography and physics, my ears would just get hot. Don't ask me why. Yeah, but I was good at English, so here I am, I suppose. But also girls, you know, there's usually a lot that's said about girls and math and sciences, but they have been performing well in years past. But Josephat, and I'll get into the math and sciences with you, Brenda, in a moment. But first, Josephat, you said one of your teachers helped you learn to love Kiswahili.
Yes, even mathematics.
And mathematics.
Yeah,
did you struggle? Sorry?
Even all the subjects. We had good teachers. We are very supportive. Like history, all the subjects, most of the teachers were very supportive. In fact, all the teachers, we are very supportive. Okay, but
was there any subject in particular that you had to pay extra attention to because you struggled with it?
English.
What? And you've written a book?
It has been a continuous development. In English, I was struggling a lot. I could get even D. Even the case had already made the school board, because they could see this is a top student. He's not performing well in English. But what I did, I made my English teacher my friend, was Madam Karaoke. I made her my friend. So every day, I could make sure I go for some work from her and mark some assignments she has given me. That's how I did it. Then I could make sure every day in my timetable, I have incorporated English as my reading subject. Then that's what I did.
Okay, well, how about you, Joram? Any subject you struggled with?
I guess I'll term agriculture. Funny enough, I come from Nyandarua County where we are agro-based community and we are farmers. So my dad had this funny joke. I'm going to request the school to be sending you home for agriculture lessons. Whenever there's an agriculture day, you come home because it's a practical setting in the farm setting. But then, now speaking to what you're terming to, the students and what the subject relations, I guess it should be revitalized. And I'm envisioning a situation where we have to, major on what students perform best. There should not be a situation where somebody a student is failing to do engineering because they did not perform well in Swahili. Because we need to revitalize our aspects on, cluster point calculations. In that, even though a student did not perform in some certain subjects, they do not deter them from, doing the courses they aspire. We can envision a situation where we actually export even labor. So for students who perform less in Swahili and want to do engineering, they can go work in Denmark, they can go work in UK, they can go work in the States.
You can still work in Kenya.
It is true. If there is a problem, you cannot communicate in Swahili in the East African region, there can be a situation where we actually think of a situation where labor can be exported.
But I'm pretty sure, we all speak passable Kiswahili.
But, exactly my point. We can speak Swahili, but if one of the children performs not best in Swahili, it becomes a problem in actualizing the dreams they have in, STEM systems, the science technology systems. So I'm envisioning a point where we can revitalize our way of approaching, accreditation to higher education.
All right, and there's a question I asked Brenda that I'll now pose to you because you're the one graduating at this point.
Yes.
Josephat has already begun authoring books. Even as he pursues electrical engineering, Brenda is now looking forward to helping chart Kenya's, reset Kenya's economic fortunes because the globe, all of us are going through what some have described as a recession. But now that you're literally going into the job market, are you thinking along the lines of Brenda's brothers, starting your own business, even if it's nothing related to international relations and diplomacy? You talked about planning to, like me, apply for Hustler Funds.
Yes.
So when you hear there are no jobs,
yes,
you get discouraged.
It is encouraging and discouraging at the same time. Encouraging in this one aspect, when you are innovative and when you're creative and when you come up with ideas, the situation in the country is good. You can really gain from, the decision you make. I have a friend, his name is Jesse, and we've been, my parents were tutoring him while we were growing. And someday he mentioned that I'll really envision you guys partnering. So me and Jesse have partnered and we have started our own tree seedling supplying company. This is a company we are envisioning a situation where we can revert the effects of climate change, and especially in our country setting and in the East African region where we have experienced so much drought. We are dispersing, relief food to people. We are losing almost 300 million plus per year trying to, coat and, cushion the wildlife systems. We are, having innumerable losses of livestock and agriculture produce. And as we all know, agriculture is the backbone of our community. So in this post-campus setting that I am having, I think I have not lost all hope in seeking for a job. I know I can major in education, maybe grab a master's or something, but then there's this famous quote that anyone who depends on a salary without being innovative are a slave of, themselves and what they aspire. So in any aspiring postgraduate student, they should think of, in any problem lies a business opportunity. In any aspect of life lies a business opportunity. So I'm going to venture into tree seedlings and have my company certified so that I can bring you a tree seedling next time so that we can all work together to avert the effects of climate change in our country.
Fantastic.
Yes.
As in, I'm really loving that yourself, Brenda, even Josephat, are thinking, what are the solutions to these crises that we're experiencing as a community, international and local community, and as a generation? So, Brenda, if you could, in your view, is age not a limiting factor? That whether you're 16 or 15 or, you know, whatever age you are, 22, 24, your generation holds the solutions. I mean, rather is capable of providing and is providing the solutions for the problems we're currently facing as a nation and perhaps the problems of tomorrow.
Being 17 now, I turned 17 a month ago, and being 17 is not the same as being 18 because that's something that you can do. And at some point, age limits you. You try to get a job or something else, try to do something. Age is a limiting factor. And there are some things that you can do that age doesn't matter. And being 22, 17, it's all about what you want to do and trying to work around the parameters that make you eligible to do whatever you wanted to do. So at some point, it's a bit of both. It is limiting, and at the same time, you can work through the limiting factors and make something yourself.
All right. So it's not true that you are the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leaders of now.
Yes, we are the leaders of now and tomorrow.
Sorry, Brenda, did I cut you short?
Sorry?
Okay. Now, because I'm seeing we're almost out of time, I'd like us now to wish the candidates who are sitting their exam success. Any words of advice, Brenda, before I let you go?
Don't forget, because students will forget they want to go home and say it doesn't matter, but the last paper is important as the matter. So just believe in yourself and don't work hard, read until the last minute.
All right, thank you, Brenda. How about you, Josephat? Any words of advice? Perhaps you could pick a few from your book.
Yes. Okay. I would tell students to relax. They be calm, because when you are calm and relaxed, you can be very productive. So I would also encourage them, when they are going to the exam room, they should walk into the exam room like they are the one who has set the exam, with a lot of confidence. Again, I would encourage them that it is not yet late to prepare, so they should not give up, because I have seen many students giving up 2 weeks before they see the paper. So I encourage them to keep on preparing. They give it a trial, because you can learn something in the last minute. So it is not yet over. I would also take the chance, like when they go to the exam room, I would tell them to give their best, just do their best. And nobody has ever prepared 100%. So they should believe in what they have prepared. And allow me to wish some schools success in their exams. I would begin with my own school, Merode Secondary School. I personally wish them success. Kireti Girls, Jobe Boys, all the schools in my sub-county, and all the students all over the country, they can make it. It is very possible. It does not matter what they get, but they get when they get their best, and it is fulfilling. That's what is required in this life. Don't compete with other people. Just get your best.
All right. How about you, Joram?
Now, for me, now being out of the university setting, I guess I have a duty to prepare these KCSE sitting candidates to a life after the exams. Now that they have been given good encouragement words from my co-panelists in the examination settings right now. One, I want to say this: after you've successfully start your exams, there is a lot to do after the KCSE. Now, this 1 year to joining a university, joining a TVET is important. One, I'm envisioning a situation where these learners will dive heavily into, extra courses. They do their computer certificates, they do their driving lesson certificates. These skills will keep them busy, and they will be an add-on as they move into the campus setting. Additionally, I'm envisioning a situation where I will encourage these learners to invest in their post-education, post-secondary knowledge, and familiarizing themselves with the international, both local and international study markets. Okay. They have a lot of access to computers. They have a lot of access to phones. So I'm envisioning a situation where after they are done with school, they'll do a lot of research to the courses they want to do. Okay. They'll do a lot of research to the job market in the country and abroad, so that they can, know what courses do I want, what strengths do I want, and vis-a-vis. I'm also going to warn them on the numbers that have been, illuminated by the Kenya Health Information Systems and the Ministry of Health. Teenage pregnancies are as high as 1 in 5, 2 in 10. So they should be worried, and they should venture now with the parents on positive sexual education information.
All right.
Moreover, I will make it known to these learners that even though they do not accredit to the university setting, the TVETs are getting very lucrative for them.
All right.
So whomever doesn't perform to attain a C+ to enter into the university setting, TVETs are being now encouraged. The government is giving tax rebates to the TVET, to companies that are giving internship to TVET learners. So I'm going to encourage them to work hard, to the ladies to join STEM, and it's going to be amazing for them.
Hey, okay, thank you very much. You can see I've been threatened with music. That's we need to close. And that is AM Live for this Friday. I've been your host, Olive Burrows. We've had Josephat Kamau in studio, Joram Gitau, Technical University of Kenya. And we've also had Brenda Cherotich all the way from Kericho County. Thank you so much for taking part in the conversation this morning. We were wishing our KCSE candidates all the best. Coming up, Monique and David and DJ E, unless they have a guest DJ in studio. All right, I'm told it is David and E, DJ E in the radio studios. They're coming up next. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.